Hey, Shalom, Kohala, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Chakodash, the one of the apostles of Great Millstone, and Shalom to you brothers in the highways and byways doing the works of sealing faithfully and continually fighting the good fight of faith. Lord willing, you'll find that number to be delivered. All right. So I was just pondering on a few things, and the Georgia Guidestones came to mind, due to the fact that, what's written on these stones and the mysteriousness of who put those stones or erected those stones, right? Not that we really care, because at the end of the day, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, these 10 laws or directions on these stones are not going to come to fruition. All right. These stones are just a mere insight to what Esau feels he's going to be able to accomplish. Because at first, when I was thinking about these guide stones, I thought it was just all about Esau, being wicked, trying to wipe out the people to get the population down to 500 million. But I believe it's different than that. All right. And why I say that is because if you read the Guidestone rules, all right, let's go to them. All right, this is the description or the inscription, what's on these stones. It says, a message consisting of a set of 10 guidelines or principles is engraved on the Georgia Guidestones in 8 different languages, one language on each face of the 4 large upright stones, moving clockwise around the structure from due north. These languages are English, Spanish, Swahili, Hindi, Hebrew, Arabic, traditional Chinese, and Russian. All right. Now, these 8 languages are probably the most commonly spoken languages on the planet right now. All right. So, taking that, the first direction is what? Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Okay. So, once again, I thought that was Esau trying to get, wicked and kill everybody. But I believe these stones were erected because Esau believes after the Third World War, this is what they're going to be able to try to establish. Okay? So these stones are in direct relation with the Third World War and the nuclear destruction. And I believe these elites, they know that America is going to be totally destroyed. All right? They understand that. And this is why they're going to try to, flee, from the iron weapon. All right? So the first one is maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. All right? 2, guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness in diversity. Okay? Now you can take that as they're going to now regulate who has children, who doesn't have children. So they're going to guide the reproduction wisely. All right? Why is that? Because they want to keep the population under 500 million. But once again, all this shit that we're reading is not going to come to pass. This place is going to be destroyed before Esau can try to get this, get his thing off on this thing. Okay? 3, unite humanity with a living new language. All right, so what does that mean? Unite humanity with a living new language. So in other words, right now, you have different countries with different laws and different, penal codes, if you will. And this is why you hear the term New World Order or One World Order. All right? And it's not talking about a language per se. It's talking about a way of life in its totality. All right? That New World philosophy, if you will. That one world philosophy. All right? Unite humanity with a living new language. Meaning they all gonna speak the same thing right across the board. 4, rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. All right. So these devils really believe that once this third world war happens and they resurface from the holes and try to come down from the so-called space stations and come up out of the sea, all right, they're going to try to push the love one another, maintain faith, maintain, the new traditions. But this, once again, this is not going to happen. 5, protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Yeah, that's not going to happen. 6, let all nations rule eternally, resolving external disputes in a world court. All right. And once again, that world court, they're all going to be speaking that same new world or one world language. Okay. 7, avoid petty laws and useless officials. And right now, you can call your so-called, your governmental branch of your governors and mayors and city councilmen, you can call them the useless officials, because right now they don't do a damn thing but tell you everything you want to hear. So they plan to get rid of that. Number 8 says balance personal rights with social duties. 9, prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. Okay. 10, be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. All right. So basically, these are the 10 guidelines that they're going to try to follow after the Third World War. But little do they know, they're going to be destroyed. All right. Especially every soul here in Babylon is out of here. And the only people that are going to resurface are those who have dug themselves in the rocks over back east. And we're going to pull them out of them rocks, and we're going to, put them in chains and shackles and do what we got to do. But all that being said, this devil really believes he's going to be able to resurface after the thermonuclear destruction. All right. So right now there's 7.7 billion people as of 2020 on the earth. Now this is just about a year ago. So the population has risen since then. All right, but just by going with the hard numbers of 2020, let's keep it moving on to the next step. All right. So in order to get the population down to 500 million, that means you're going to have to kill off 7,255,840,547 people. Okay. Now, I don't foresee Esau being able to wipe that many people out in such a short time, because we at the end of this thing. I do not see him being able to do that. All right. So going to some scriptures, this is the reason why I believe these guide stones are instructions given by the elites to those who believe they're going to be able to, withstand the impact of these missiles by going into their holes. All right. Let me start at where we at here. No, that's not what I want. Let me go a couple more over. This is 2 Ezra 16. I'm gonna start at 13. It says, "For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world." All right. So clearly, this is speaking about the thermonuclear missiles being shot from one end of the earth unto the other. All right. And this is going to align itself with what these Georgia Guidestones are set out to do. All right. Maintain humanity at 500 million, which means they're going to have to kill 7.2 billion people. All right. But let's just keep reading. It says, "Behold, the plagues are sent, and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled, and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backwards, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon the earth shall not return again. Woe is me, who shall deliver me in those days? And here is the points right here. It says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famines and great death. All right. So there's going to have to be a method that's going to be used in order for the population to be maintained at 500 million. And I believe them thermonuclear missiles, in Esau's mind, is going to be able to do that. All right. Esau believes that those thermonuclear missiles are going to kill off 7.2 billion people. And therefore, this is why they say it the way they say it. It says maintain humanity under 500 million. So there's going to be an event outside of what their power is in order to maintain it. So there's going to be something in place that's going to bring the number down, and Esau just wants to maintain that number. You see? So this is why I believe these Georgia Guidestones are instructions by the elites to what their job or what their agenda is going to be after the nuclear destruction. All right? But we understand and we know that Esau is going to, put forth maximum effort. Now, this is the TED Talk, and once again, I don't own the copyrights to none of this information, and this is just information. I'm not trying to persuade anybody to do or believe anything. It's just a clip that was on YouTube that I just put out there. So just that little disclaimer. All right.
This is something that has to get to zero. Now, we put out a lot of carbon dioxide every year, over 26 billion tons. For each American, it's about 20 tons. For people in poor countries, it's less than 1 ton. It's an average about 5 tons for everyone on the planet. And somehow we have to make changes that will bring that down to zero. It's been constantly going up. It's only various economic changes that have even flattened it at all. So we have to go from rapidly rising to falling and falling all the way to zero. This equation has 4 factors, a little bit of multiplication. So you've got a thing on the left, CO2, that you want to get to zero. And that's going to be based on the number of people, the services each person's using on average, the energy on average for each service, and the CO2 being put out per unit of energy. So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. That's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%. But there we see an increase of about 1.3.
Okay, so you heard it there for yourself. The method they want to use to get certain numbers, CO2 numbers down. All right. I don't have to repeat what he said, but you heard it. All right. So that was my initial thought when I, read the Georgia Guidestones, that with their methods, they were going to try to put into place to bring the population down to 500 million. But it's bigger than that. All right. Now, the Lord did speak about there were going to be pestilences. All right. We understand that. But the amount of people that they're hoping or looking to wipe off the face of the earth, I believe can only be done by thermonuclear destruction. All right. So from there, I want to make mention also of the 8 languages that are primarily spoken. All right. Now, they chose those 8 out of 6,500 languages that are spoken in the world today. And that was as of October 12, 2021. All right. So Esau is he's really he knows and understands that there's going to be a nuclear war. He clearly knows that. You see? And with that in place, he's taking certain measures and taking certain precautions. All right? The scriptures speak about counting the costs. Esau is very good at counting the costs. All right? He knows who is expendable. He knows where and when to do certain things, how to do certain things. He's no dummy by far. We call him the devil, but he's no dummy. All right? So I want to make mention of that. But let me go to Obadiah, and I'll start at verse 4. It says, "Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord." Okay? So it's set up as though they set their nest among the stars. And we understand that to be, their space stations and their space explorations. Because they truly believe, Esau believes in his heart of hearts, that he's going to be able to avoid the nuclear, destruction by flying up to the space station or going deep into the clefts of the rocks. All right? But that will soon be rooted out, because the land's going to be made desolate, primarily over here in Babylon. Isaiah 2:19, it says, "And they shall go into the holes of the rock and into the caves of the earth, for fear of the Lord and for the glory of his majesty, when he ariseth to shake terribly the earth." When he arises to shake terribly that earth. All right? So that's what the Lord is going to do. He's going to shake this bitch. The earth is going to reel to and fro like a junket. But in the midst of that, Esau is going to take super precaution and try to go into these bunkers, go up into the space stations, go into the depths of the earth, the sea. All right? There's not going to be anywhere you're going to be able to go to avoid this judgment unless you get delivered on a chariot. You see, even the other nations, over back in the east, they're going to feel the earth reel to and fro. These people are going to feel it. And it's going to be a beautiful sight to see, Lord willing, from on high. But at the same time, it's going to be a fearful sight. And we're going to see everything as it is when that happens, man. All right? So from there, let me go back. No. Let me go to Job. Job 20 and 23. And as I said at the outset of the lesson, the Georgia Guidestones are just a mere roadmap to what the elites believe they're going to be able to accomplish when the Third World War comes to an end. All right? Now this is Job 20 and 23. It says, "When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating." All right? So their whole enterprise is not going to be able to come to pass. All right? They really they set themselves up in just about every way you can possibly imagine to save themselves. But the Lord is going to rain down upon their head with his fury, with his vengeance. Okay? Going back to 2 Ezra 16. It says, "Behold," verse 19, "Behold, famine, plague, tribulation, anguish are sent as scourges for an amendment. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges." Okay? So Esau, he's gonna rebel right up until the time we gotta lay hands on him. He's gonna rebel. But that's just the stiff neck, the hard-heartedness the Lord's going to put upon him, just like he did Pharaoh. He put Pharaoh in that position of hardening his heart. And every time, Moses went to go speak to the children, on behalf of the children of Israel, to Pharaoh, the Lord hardened his heart. So the Lord can show his power. And he's going to do the same thing with Esau. Esau is not going to roll over and be like, all right, Lord. Esau is going to fight the Lord, man. Esau is going to try to fight. All right? But all that being said, the time is coming where this third world war is truly going to start heating up, man. China, they're getting busy. Russia, they're getting busy. All these nations are getting busy, getting ready. They're gearing up. Okay? So, I'm going to end it with that, but I just wanted to bring this out with the Georgia Guidestones, and that I believe these guidestones, and once again, a guidestone is a stone that had directions on it. Okay? For travelers back in the day. So once again, if you equate it to this time period, all right, it's basically telling you what direction, these devils are going to try to move, or what action they're going to try to take when they resurface. All right. So all that being said, I'm going to end it on there. And Lord willing, I'll see you brothers in another show. I say shalom.